Should I, 27 female, leave my boyfriend, 34 male, after how he reacted to me saying no to sex for the first time? I, 27 female, have been dating Luke, 34 male, for the past 9 months. He asked me out at a mutual friend's wedding and I said yes as I thought he was very attractive. I was happy to find out he is also intelligent, charming, kind and very fun. We see each other 2/3 times a week, go on regular dates, have been on holiday together and have met each other's families, friends. We had a brief disagreement about him wanting us to move in together sooner than I was ready, but otherwise it's been fantastic. Anyway, hopefully that is a useful background to show our relationship is going really well otherwise. Now on to the issue. Last week I was over at his place. It was a Saturday evening and we'd been out all day. We had a quick dinner and were relaxing on the sofa. He started kissing me in a way that was clear he was initiating sex, and as I was not in the mood, I told him I wasn't feeling it and could we just cuddle. He did briefly try to convince me, but once I made it clear I was serious, he dropped the topic. It was a little awkward after this, so I asked if everything was okay. He said he just wanted to have sex. We went to sleep pretty soon afterwards, but he was acting normal in the morning. We didn't see each other for a few days but had been texting like normal. He told him he wanted to have a talk about our relationship when he came over the next day. I had a feeling it was going to be about the sex incident and was a little anxious. He told me that he was caught really off guard when I rejected his advances on Saturday night and had been thinking over it a lot. He explained that sex was incredibly important to him and he had a really high sex drive. He was married before and apparently this was an issue which led to their divorce. Even though ID picked up on this, I was still pretty surprised. It was once, the first time in our relationship, that I hadn't been in the mood. We have sex at least once every time we see each other, sometimes more, since we started about 3 months into dating. Part of what has thrown me off is how respectful he was at the start when I wanted to wait longer than him before we started being sexually intimate. I didn't really respond to him because I did not know how to. I was still gathering my thoughts on the situation, but I did ask what he expected from me. He said he was happy with our usual frequency of sex, though would be open to more, but mainly wanted to communicate his needs as soon as he started to see an issue forming so it doesn't become a deal breaker. A few hours later when we were having sex, it was in the back of my mind and made me feel pretty gross afterwards, like the option to say no had been taken away. After thinking it over for a few days, I asked Luke if we could talk about it again after I worked out what I wanted to say. I told him that his comments about sex had been on my mind and that while I understand his need for sex and appreciated him communicating with me, I also needed him to understand that sometimes I will have a good reason to not want to have sex. He said that was fine and agreed in principle there would be times I wouldn't be able to have sex with him. I brought up, for example, when we have children, I won't be able to have sex for a couple of months after giving birth. He said of course and was initially reassuring, but then joked about how I could keep him happy for a while with blowjobs, though he might not have actually been joking, as he always expects them when I am on my period. I tried to keep talking about it, but we reached a bit of an impasse, so continued with the day. Within an hour he was initiating again, and this time I said no because I didn't want to feel like last time. He asked what was wrong and I tried to explain how I felt before, but he reacted pretty badly. He was mad and said I was treating him like a predator for wanting to have sex. We ended up arguing for a bit. He ended it by saying he couldn't end up with another woman who would withhold sex from him and left my apartment. It's been a quiet few days between us, and I'm seriously considering the future of our relationship. Our conversations haven't been that productive, but I'm really torn. I wouldn't even say we are sexually incompatible. I've been really happy with our frequency too, but I just think it's fair that I get to say no on the odd occasion I'm not in the mood. I don't understand how this has become a relationship ending issue so quickly. I guess he might be projecting his issues with his ex on me, but that feels really unfair. Is my perspective fair on this issue? Or am I overreacting given I don't actually disagree with having regular sex? I've actually been considering breaking up with him, but not sure if that's a bit dramatic. Any advice would be much appreciated. I said no to having sex with my boyfriend for the first time since we started dating 9 months ago. A couple of days later he had a serious conversation with me about how it made him feel rejected and sex was really important to him. I feel like I can no longer say no and am considering breaking up.
BF avoids talking about issues even if it means ignoring me. My 30 female. Just purchased a house with my long-term BF, 29 male. I'll try to summarize our relationship as briefly as possible. We started dating at 18, were LDR for a year when he moved countries and then I moved later. We got engaged before the pandemic but broke up late 2020. After therapy on both sides and exploring ourselves, neither of us dated other people, but we started talking again when I messaged him on Teams that I was leaving the company and then rekindled our relationship. It's been 3 years since. We both lived with parents until 2 months ago when we moved in together, but we were sleeping over from time to time and went on vacations as well. About us, we are both of same culture and ethnicity, both with high-paying white-collar jobs and stable careers. Our families get along well enough. My family loves him and his family is starting to appreciate me more and treat me very nicely since we got back together. We have similar tastes, both enjoy each other's company. Picture perfect relationship on paper. So the issues. *1. I don't feel appreciated enough or like a priority to him. He would put in a lot of work to organize getting people at events, etc. and drive to pick up people and so on, but did absolutely nothing to plan my birthday, leaving everything to my sister. *2. He readily says no to me for things he also readily does for other people. I asked him to pick up my new phone from the store, which was a 20-minute subway ride for him. But he said no. His friend visiting the country was in a similar situation, and he drove in NYC traffic from Long Island to go pick it up for his friend, saying he didn't have a choice. These are just random examples. *3. He knows I like to hash out issues immediately or shortly after. He likes to ignore things, even if it means not talking to me for hours or even days. I'm always bringing up issues that he postponed talking about to just get things hashed out. We agreed he will say if he needs time, but he doesn't ever do this. Instead, e.g. he walked into the house tonight, said hi, then went to bed and was on his phone. I came to bed and he didn't say anything, and just kept on his phone. *4. He is always defensive when I try to talk to him, and he is always resorting to frustrated tones and body language, which results in small things being escalated for no damn reason. *5. He is always taking any small feedback as criticism and saying, women. To which I say, if you want to be in a relationship with a man, go for it. *6. He is not fun anymore to hang out with. We argue a lot because of his temperament, nothing new there. But he promised that once we live together, things would be different, but they aren't. *7. He is obsessed with this idea that I will take advantage of him by making him do more household chores, which we addressed but still seems to need work. I'm not a lazy person, but my parents did everything for me, so I only needed to focus on work, but I'm trying my best too. I cook, clean, even after him sometimes, do laundry. He does clean and do laundry. He cooks small items, but he also leaves the dishes for me when he does, which we agreed, whoever cooks, doesn't need to wash. But I always wash up when I'm cooking because what else is there to do while the pot is on? And one day he left the dishes he had to wash for 2 days in the sink even though I mentioned it. I ended up having to put it in the dishwasher, and since it was our first time using the dishwasher, ended up needed to rewash by hand. His dishes. *8. He is constantly nice to outside people and short with me. He's nicest with me whenever people are around. I told him about his attitude, but he didn't seem to notice. I'm very easy to love and care for. I say exactly what I want and mean. I don't expect him to read my mind, and I basically gave him the cheat codes to how to make me happy. As far as I have asked him, he has no complaints about me apart from the paranoia about being taken advantage of. Sometimes he brings up issues that are stupid, like, I bought $200 of organic low-carb, sugar-free ingredients to make food at home. And he questioned me about it because he spent $175 at the grocery store and got more than I did. Also, he's comparing perishables he bought to things like erythritol and so on that will last at least 8 to 12 months. I told him if I don't have a spending problem, he shouldn't be bringing stuff up, and asked if I ever gave him a reason to question my values on money or my spending habits. He mentioned my micro-app purchases, to which I clapped back with, it's my money for those and it's no different than a daily Starbucks and it's my discretionary, so he doesn't need to worry about that. He agreed. I just feel unloved though. I don't feel like a priority. I don't feel cared for or that my needs are addressed. I don't know how much easier to make this. And I'm exhausted from feeling like I'm trying too much, when he can clearly go to sleep without saying a word to me. He is not physically abusive and will never be. He's not cheating, and I'm not paranoid or checking his phone and that shit. Cheaters will cheat if they want. He's totally into me. The sex is great and we have good chemistry and we are definitely in love. It just feels so toxic. BF makes me feel unloved with his actions and attitude. Relationship feels toxic even though I told him what needs to happen for me to feel loved.